All right, let's get right into it. I want you to picture this. It's New Year's Eve, right? The music's pumping, the energy is just electric, and the room is absolutely packed. For a lot of people, that's just a recipe for social anxiety. But what if you had like a tactical guide, a way to not just survive those situations, but to actually command them? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. So how do you command a room? It's a really powerful question when you think about it. And it's definitely not about being the loudest person there or, trying to be the center of attention. No, it's something way more subtle, more strategic. And we're going to break down a really clear 3-step framework to help you figure this out. Okay, first things first, we gotta understand the challenge. You walk into that packed party, and you feel it almost immediately, don't you? That wave of chaotic energy. It can be super overwhelming. It makes you feel like you gotta shout just to be heard, or do something big to make any kind of impression. Well, that feeling? It actually has a name, and just understanding it is the very first step to getting it under control. So what you're feeling is this really powerful psychological thing called emotional contagion. It's basically the reason panic can spread like wildfire through a crowd. But it's also why laughter is so darn infectious. So in a high-energy party, you're pretty much soaking up everyone else's social anxiety. The key here, and this is a big one, is to consciously shield yourself from that and start projecting a totally different kind of energy. So you've just walked in, you're guarding your own calm state. What's the next move? Well, you don't say a single word. Nope. Your first move is all about observation. We're talking about a technique called social mapping. Think about it like this. You're developing a kind of social X-ray vision. Before you even think about talking to anyone, you just take a second to understand the emotional landscape of the room. This isn't about judging people, not at all. It's about gathering intelligence so you can navigate the space like a pro. Seriously, it gives you a massive strategic advantage. And here's how you do it. It's super simple, just 3 steps. First, scan the perimeter. Who's kind of hanging back? Who's looking a little lost? Got it? Okay, step 2, identify the hubs. Where are the main groups chatting? Where's the action? And finally, step 3, note the dynamics inside those groups. Who's doing all the talking? Who's just listening intently? In literally 30 seconds, you can have a complete map of the social terrain. Okay, so you've mapped the room. Now it's time to shift your own behavior. And this is where we get into a really cool, totally counterintuitive idea. It's called the gravity effect. So what's the typical approach? Well, most people chase attention, right? They try to be loud, they try to impress everybody, but all that does is project this high, anxious energy that honestly just comes across as needy. The gravity effect is the complete opposite. By staying calm, by being observant, you start to project this quiet authority. And the result? You become magnetic. People get drawn to you because they're curious about this calm center in the middle of a storm. Yeah, think about it this way. In a room just full of people trying to outshine each other, who's the most interesting person? It's the one who's just comfortable. The person who's secure in their own space, not looking for validation, that's who becomes the most intriguing. Your calmness literally becomes a source of social gravity, pulling others in. Okay, so let's recap. You've mapped the room, you're projecting that calm gravity, and now someone comes up to you to chat. It's time to deploy your most powerful tool. And I'm going to bet it's not what you think it is. No, really, I want you to think about this for a second. You're in a noisy, fast-paced conversation. What could possibly give you more control, more authority than anything you could say out loud? That's it. Silence. A deliberate, well-placed pause. In a world of just constant noise, where everyone is clamoring to be heard, silence is a pretty radical act. And it completely changes the entire dynamic of an interaction. So let's break down why this works so well. A pause, right? It builds this good kind of tension. It makes people lean in. They're wondering what you're going to say next. It literally forces them to listen harder. But psychologically, what it's really doing is signaling that you are in complete control, that you're comfortable with that space between words. It's a nonverbal cue of pure confidence, and our brains are just wired to see that kind of calmness under pressure as a sign of leadership. So we have our core components, right? We've got mapping the room, projecting that calm gravity, and using silence strategically. Now let's see how all these pieces fit together to help you become a leader in really any social setting. So here it is, your tactical playbook boiled down to 3 simple steps. First, you enter and you map the room without saying a thing. Second, you attract interest by embodying the gravity effect. You become that calm, observant core. And finally, when you do get into a conversation, you command it with the strategic use of powerful silence. Map, attract, command. Simple as that. And this really brings us to the ultimate takeaway. Leadership in a social setting. It isn't about dominance, it's about stability. I mean, think about it. In a sea of anxious, contagious energy, the calmest person provides an anchor. And we, as humans, are just instinctively drawn to that stability in chaotic environments. That person becomes the unofficial leader that everyone else subconsciously looks to for cues. So, as you head into your next big party, your next social event, you've got a choice to make. Are you going to get swept up in that emotional contagion? Or are you going to be the calm center of gravity? The choice and all the power that comes with it is entirely yours.